Welcome to Tax Teach. I hope you guys are having a great day. My name is Sean. I'm a certified public accountant specializing in taxation. Today I want to teach you guys about Form 1040, the U.S. Individual Income Tax Return. I'm going to give you some basics about the form, then go over how to actually fill out the form itself. So it's that time of year where a lot of you guys are receiving your Form W-2s from your employers. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about Form W-2, I did a video earlier on. So you can check up here somewhere and that should take you to the video. So Form 1040, U.S. Individual Income Tax Return, is a form where you fill it out and it determines how much income taxes you owe the IRS. So it's very important to fill out the form correctly because it determines how much you owe the federal government. The form is due around April 15th, so that's coming up. So that's why I wanted to do the video to teach you guys how to fill out the form. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out Form 1040 for 2020. Here's a Form 1040 U.S. Individual Income Tax Return for 2020. In this example, I'm assuming a single taxpayer with just one job, so a very basic Form 1040. So first thing you have to do is mark your filing status. So we're going to mark single. I already pre-populated this information. So you just put your name, your social security number, and where you live. Next, we look at the standard deduction. And what this is just trying to do is figure out if somebody can claim you. So if you're a college student, this might apply for you. Your parents might still claim you as a dependent, so you'd mark you as a dependent. I will assume that this is not the case for this taxpayer. So we'll ignore this section. Next, age of blindness. If you're 65 or blind, or both, you get an extra standard deduction. In this case, we're going to assume that the taxpayer is under 65 and not blind, so this wouldn't apply either. Next part is dependents. So if you have children, you put their name down here, social security in relation to you, if you're claiming them as a dependent. If they're under 17, you can take them as a child's tax credit. If they're over 17, they might be eligible for the dependent credit, so like college students. In this example, we're assuming this doesn't apply, so we wouldn't fill this out. But if you did have children or dependents, it's pretty straightforward. You put their name, social security in relation to you, then if they qualify for the credit, either credit. Line 1 of the Form 1040, so this is where it really starts, the Form 1040 begins. And so I have an example Form W-2 I'm going to be using. I did a whole video about this earlier, so a link should be popping up now where you can go check out that Form W-2. And I go over line by line the Form W-2s. If you want to get familiar with that, go ahead and do that. But for now, I'm going to go to the Form W-2. You see here wages, tips, and other compensation. We're going to pull that number, the 50 grand, and bring it over to our form and put it right here, 50,000. And so if you had multiple Form W-2s, you would add up all the Form W-2 amounts, the line 1 amounts. But since this is just one job example, we only have one amount, the 50,000. But just keep that in mind. If you have multiple jobs, you're going to have to be adding multiple Form W-2s. And you want to attach the Form W-2 to your return when you submit, if you mail the Form 1040. 2B, this interest really applies if you have bank interest, which most people do have. In this case, I'm going to just assume $100, which is quite a bit, but it's just an easy number to work with. If you have over 1,500 in interest and dividends, you have to attach Schedule B. So just be aware of that. I'm not going to be going over that in this example. 4B through 6B doesn't apply. This really mostly applies to people who are retired and are taking pensions, IRA distribution, Social Security benefits. And I won't be going over that in this example. So you can disregard 4B, 5B, and 6B. Line 7 applies if you have capital gains. The most common example of that is stock. So if you sell stock throughout the year, you might have a capital gain or loss, and you'd put that capital gain or loss on line 7. 8, other income. I'll show you the Schedule 1 real quick, what it looks like and what kind of other income might apply. But in this example, I'm not going to go over it in depth. So here's Schedule 1. Here's some examples of additional income. Probably the one that might apply the most, this return is unemployment compensation. So if you were unemployed throughout the year, you would put amount on line 7, and then you sum up lines 1 through 8 and put it on the total line 9, and you'd pull line 9 to your 1040 and put it on line 8 of the 1040. And then line 9 is a simple add of all the prior lines. We just do 50,000 and then the 100. So our W-2 income and our interest income, and that's our total income. And you can see 10 here, adjustments to income. So this is like deductions to this 50,100 amount. Once again, this is found on Schedule 1. So we'll go back to Schedule 1 as a quick reference. And this is an example of deductions you can take against that, your income. Alimony, student loan interest deduction, tuition and fees, educator expenses. So all these are some expenses that you can take against your income. For purposes of example, we're assuming no adjustments to income. So nothing for 10C. And then line 11 is just going to be our 50,100 amount. It's just subtracting line 10C from 9A. Since we have no adjustments to income, it's just our 50,000 amount. In 12, we're going to be taking our standard deduction, which is 12,400 for 2020. You might think about itemizing your deductions. If you own a house and are paying interest on your mortgage, you pay a lot of state and local taxes and give a lot to charity, that's when you might think about getting your itemized deductions, because itemized deductions is a bunch of expenses that you add up. And if those expenses are higher than 12,400, then you should itemize. For the most part, if you're a single taxpayer with just one job, and you don't own a house, you're probably just going to do your standard deduction of 12,400, and that's what I'm going to do in this example. 13 doesn't apply. 14 is just addition, so we use 12,400, and now we're pull out our calculator and subtract 12,400 from 50,100. So we got 50,100 minus our standard deduction, 37,700, and we put that amount right here. And that's our taxable income. So this is the base in which we calculate our tax. And so once we go to the second page of the 1040, so we're about halfway there, we see tax and see instructions. I have the instructions pulled up. I'll leave a link in the video description of where you can find these instructions. So here's the instructions here. I'm on page 70, and this is where they show you how to calculate tax. And if you guys remember, back to your 1040, we have 37,700. If you go back to our instructions here, we're going to use this column here, single, because we're a single taxpayer. We're going to go down to 37,700, which is right here. And we're going to owe 4,330 in taxes. So we're going to go back to our form. And that is how much tax we owe. And then we do addition here, 18,433. So we keep going down. And all these lines in between relate to credits, which are like child tax credit. And there's other kinds of credits you can take. I'm not gonna go into depth about what credits you can take. That might be something for a different video. This is a very simple Form 1040. I'm trying to show you guys just so you understand the mechanics of the form. So for now, we're just going to keep on with this simple example. Right here, so we got So line 24 is our total tax. And now we compare what we owe to what was withheld throughout the year. So you probably recognize throughout the year that in your paychecks, taxes are being withheld. And that's displayed on our Form W-2. So if we go back to our Form W-2 here, and we see our federal income tax withheld, we see $5,098. We're going to take this number and put it right here, $5,098. And also flow it down to here. And we keep going down. And then we pull that information here, line 33, which is our total tax payments. Since we're a single taxpayer with just one job, the only tax payments we made was on our paychecks that were being withheld. So we got the 5,000 figure right here. And then we do some math on line 34. We subtract 33 from 24. So we owe 4,330. We calculate how much taxes we owe throughout the year, but we overpaid, right? We paid $5,098. So let's pull out the calculator here. And let's see, minus 4,330. So we have $768 refund. And for the most part, you're going to want to get that refunded to you, which is 35A. And then you put in your bank information right here. Checking, your routing number, account number. If you owe taxes, you do line 37, 38, possibly. And then you just sign your Form 1040 at the bottom. Your signature, your date, and your occupation. And then your spouse as well if you're married. So there you have it, a very simple Form 1040. I hope this is helpful and helping you understand the mechanics of the form. I just want to show you all a basic Form 1040 and how it works. That concludes the video. Thank you all for watching. If you guys want me to do a more complicated Form 1040 tutorial, let me know, and I can do a more complicated example video in the future. If you haven't already, please like the video. It supports the channel, and I appreciate that. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Subscribing just keeps you up to date on when I post videos, and it's free, so why not? Thanks again for watching the video. Take care all, and I'll see you next video.